Hey everybody, Derek Inyard here with a lesson on music theory or beginner music theory. I know there's several times in my life that I wish that I understood how to play a piano or how it works, how scales work, how to make a chord. Here's a quick process that I've gone through to kind of figure out how it works. Grab a pen and paper. If you have a keyboard, that's great. If you have a piano, that's perfect. If you don't worry about it. Just grab a pen and paper and let's get started on this process. Music and scales are largely based on patterns. So once you start to catch on to the patterns, it'll start to make sense to you and then you can move right along. Let's look at how the pattern for a major scale works along. If you don't know what a major scale is, if you think back to school when they had you sing Do, Re, Mi or watch Mary Poppins, Do, Re, Mi is a good way to set in your ear what a major scale sounds like. So let's look at that. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do as we go up the scale. This is the key of C. This is the easiest one to show you because it has no sharps or flats. It doesn't use any black keys. It's all the white keys on the keyboard. So let's look at how in any key how this works. A major scale is made up of half steps and whole steps. 2 whole steps, then a half, 3 whole steps, then a half, and you go back to your last note. Sometimes you'll see a number 8 or you'll see the 1 because it goes back to the first note just an octave up. What is a half step? Half step means that these notes are neighbors, or in this case, E to F. They're neighbors. There is no black key between those 2 notes. From here to here, this is a half step. From here to here is a half step. A whole step means you skip the neighbor. So from C to D, you skip the neighbor, and that's a whole step. Here's where some people get tripped up. It's not that difficult, though. From here to here is a whole step, because you have to skip this guy because there is no other black key. So from here to here is a whole step. From here to here is a whole step. See if you can see that. You skip the F from E to F sharp. All right? Look at the pattern again. Write this down. Whole step, half, whole step, half. Then you would write down that the half step means that they're neighbors. Whole step means that you skip the neighbor. Now we're going to follow that pattern in a couple of different keys. We'll start with the key of C. And basically what that means is C is going to be our main pattern. So the white notes. So when someone says we're going to play in the key of something else, they're basically saying the do, re, mi of that particular note, leading from that note. So if you look, we skip this one, whole step. A lot of mistakes that people make is touching that note and calling that a whole step. It's not a whole step till you leave that first note. Whole step. Whole step. We skip that half. These are neighbors. Skip, whole step, whole step, whole step, no neighbor, half. Whole step, half. Whole step, half. Let's look at that in a different key. Let's choose G. We were in C, now we'll choose G. So this one's very similar. Skip the black note, whole step. Skip the black note, whole step. Half. Whole step, whole step. Now this is your neighbor. We need one more whole step. That's that F sharp. Then the half. Let's look at that again. Half, whole step, whole step, whole step, half. So the next part of this is understanding the relationship between the two scales. They are very closely related. As you saw, G was mostly white keys except for one note. Let me show you where that works. So you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, then back to C. No sharps, no flats. When you go to the fifth note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll keep going up. 6, 7, 8, or you could put 1 again. Start at the fifth note. G, A, B, C, or just that C. So A, B, C, they're all the same. Then we go back here. D, E. Now this last note, I say the last note because we repeat C twice. This last note will change. F sharp. That's the only difference. All the notes are the same except for the F sharp. And that's because between E and F is a whole step in the key of G. So let's look at this on the keyboard. Key of C, whole step, half, whole step, whole step, whole step, half. When you look at the G scale, you have whole step, half, whole step, whole step, whole step, half. Write this out as many times as possible to see how these two have a relationship. Writing it out this way, that the key of G has one sharp. That is F sharp. All right, I hope this was helpful. Go over it on your keyboard. Try to find out where those notes are. Again, identify C by looking for these two black keys by themselves, and it's to the left. The key of G, you identify the three black keys. It's the first one on the inside. I hope this has been helpful. Please write into the comments. Subscribe, of course. If you have any questions, write me. I'll answer them back. And maybe I'll put up a new video. Thanks.